Boy, let me tell you, watching Abigail brought back some really awesome childhood memories. So growing up, I would often sneak horror VHS tapes into my bedroom, without my parents' knowledge, of course. I have very, very fond memories of building blanket forts and smuggling in copies of hardcore horror flicks, including vampire features like The Lost Boys, Near Dark, Fright Night, and of course, the comedic masterpiece that is Vampires Suck. No, I'm just joshing you. But I can definitely add Abigail to the list of fun, entertaining vampire flicks that I've seen in my lifetime. Welcome to yet another episode of Round the Clock Frights. My name is Josh, and today we're going to be talking about 2024's Abigail, a vampire film with some real bite. But I was excited for this film because I've taken a liking to Radio Silence, the filmmaking duo behind such films as Ready or Not, Scream 2022, and Scream 6. But I really appreciate them as artists, and my thoughts on their previous film, so Ready or Not, I thought was a very fun horror film with some razor-sharp commentary. It shows how wealthy elitists can become so entitled and powerful that they completely disregard the lives of those less fortunate than them. In that film, poor Samara Weaving is forced to partake in a deadly game of hide and seek. And Scream 2022 and Scream 6 I thought were both pretty decent follow-ups to Wes Craven's previous 4 films. Both films continue the long-standing tradition of providing audiences with clever meta humor and gory kills. But now we have Abigail, a wholly original vampire flick from this filmmaking duo, and before this film came out, it was just referred to as an untitled Universal Monsters film from Radio Silence. I wondered what it could possibly be. Was it going to be a modern retelling of a classic Universal Monsters film like The Wolfman? Although I heard Leigh Whannell is currently making that movie at the moment. And honestly, it wasn't until the trailer came out that audiences caught a glimpse of what the film was really about. A seemingly innocent little girl gets kidnapped by a band of criminals, and it turns out she's actually a bloodthirsty, murderous vampire, or more specifically, a ballerina vampire. Another reason I got excited was because I actually read an interview with Radio Silence, and I think it was in the latest issue of Fangoria. I might be wrong about that, but they mentioned how they were heavily influenced by classic 80s vampire films like The Lost Boys and Fright Night. So that got me really excited for this movie. I'm a sucker for vampire films. A sucker. I'm just hitting home runs today, with those puns. Anyway, so my overall thoughts on Abigail, it's not a great film by any means, but it is a reasonably entertaining one, with some fun, gory highlights and a tremendous villain at its center. Oh my gosh.
What can I say? I like playing with my phone.
And man, look out Megan, because there's a new terrifying little girl in town. And honestly, this is what I wanted Megan to be, but instead, that film turned out to be a neutered piece of mediocrity. And a killer doll film should not be a safe PG-13 product. That film should have been intense and crazy as all hell. I know there's an unrated edition available on Amazon. I haven't watched it, but Megan was average. But rest assured, unlike Megan, Abigail pulls no punches because it is balls to the wall bloody. There are some gory moments in this movie, and that just makes it even more incredible.
Alright, let's go kill us a fucking vampire. Ready?
So right off the bat, I have to commend the talents of Alicia Weir, who plays Abigail. She is a tremendous talent, and she is just utterly phenomenal in this film. She gives a great physical performance and a great emotional performance, and you can just tell that this is an actor who was going places because she adds so much to this character, and there are times throughout this movie that she is utterly terrifying. I mean, she speaks with the cadence and menace of an adult woman. There are scenes where she'll be talking to, all these adult characters, and she sounds like a diabolical James Bond villain, but it's not unconvincing. You wholly buy it, and she does manage to send shivers down your spine. And apparently she actually is a trained ballerina dancer, so she does all the dancing in this film herself, which just makes it even more amazing, because there's a lot of physical stunts in this movie, and you can tell that she did the majority of them herself, but she just did a really amazing job in this movie, and I can't wait to see what she does next. I hope she comes back, because after watching this film, I told myself, man, I think we have the next great horror villain in our hands. She was just truly, truly great.
I just loved Abigail as her character and how she was like basically playing two different people, and like the transition from the innocent girl into like this vampire. I just thought it was amazing, so I was really intrigued.
And even though the rest of the characters are pretty much caricatures, you can tell the actors had a blast playing them. But yeah, they're pretty much stereotypes. I mean, there's the muscular imbecile with a heart of gold, there's the punk girl who's really into technology, the straight smart girl who makes all the right decisions throughout the movie, played by none other than Melissa Barrera of Scream fame. Oh, Melissa Barrera. But like I said, even though the characters are caricatures, they're all at least fun to watch. And, you know, whenever Melissa was on screen, I just really felt the need to scream. Oh, and a minor spoiler, so Dan Stevens is in this movie. The Beast himself, Dan Stevens, and you know, I've enjoyed him in a lot of stuff, but the name of his character, again, some minor spoilers, his name is revealed to be Adam Barrett, and I'm wondering if this is a reference to the filmmaking duo of Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett, you know, the filmmakers behind such films as You're Next and The Guest, and as we all know, The Guest starred Dan Stevens himself, so I wondered if that was a reference to those two. And honestly, I hope I'm not the only horror fan to make that connection. But who knows, it might just be a coincidence. Also, I really like the setting of this film, just this vast, elegant mansion, which, by the way, these guys really enjoy making horror movies set in elegant mansions, don't they? They did the same thing with Ready or Not, and just hear me out. They should do a remake of the movie Clue. You know, the original Clue had Tim Curry and Madeline Kahn, a very fun comedy, but man, I think they would be perfect for a modern retelling of Clue. I mean, just get this colorful cast of characters together in an elegant mansion, and yeah, it pretty much speaks for itself. I think they would do that material justice. Get them on board to do a Clue movie. I think it'd be a match made in heaven, honestly.
What do you mean? Murder.
But only one of these suspects is the murderer.
But it's a really cool looking mansion, so we get some neat set pieces throughout. I mean, there's a freaking room that contains a bloody pool filled with discarded corpses, and my heart leapt with joy during that sequence because it reminded me a lot of Poltergeist. You know, in Poltergeist, there's that scene where she jumps into a pool that's filled with decaying skeletons, and yeah, it made me pretty happy. And there's also some neat references to other vampire flicks. Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake plays during the opening credits. And for all of you hardcore horror fans, Swan Lake was the same music that played during the opening credits of Dracula, the 1931 film starring Bela Lugosi. And characters also verbally mention, you know, vampire fiction like Twilight and Interview with the Vampire. So yeah, Radio Silence, they brought with them some of that meta humor from the Scream series, that's for sure. So were there things I didn't like about this movie? To be honest, I didn't like the climax very much. So some minor spoilers, let's just say that a new villain is thrown in at the last minute here, and to be honest, I didn't necessarily like that. I was really enjoying Abigail as a villain, and I was hoping she would remain the central threat throughout the majority of the movie. And the final showdown does go on a bit too long with characters throwing each other into walls and whatnot. I think it could have been tightened up a little bit. It just felt a little dragged out. So yeah, wasn't a big fan of the climax, although there is a great reveal at the end of the movie, which I won't dare spoil here, but it was just so cool, and it made my horror heart very, very happy. Overall though, guys, I can safely say that I had a lot of fun watching Abigail. It was honestly some of the most fun I've had all year at the cinema, and it's a highly entertaining vampire flick that's very energetic and well-paced, and with, again, a phenomenal villain and some fun, gory kills. It honestly felt like a horror flick ripped straight out of the 80s, and I would gladly watch it alongside other vampire movies like The Lost Boys, Fright Night, Near Dark, you know, stuff from that era. But yes, definitely a good time, so go and check it out, guys, before it leaves theaters. I know it's not doing incredibly well at the box office, but we really need to show films like this our support, our undying support, guys. We need to get this film more attention because it's an original horror film, and it deserves our time and attention. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me in my discussion of 2024's Abigail. Again, this is a vampire film with some real bite, and it certainly doesn't suck. For those of you who might be new to my channel, yeah, I do a lot of bad puns. It's just who I am, so get used to it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much again. What were your thoughts on Abigail? Did you think this was one of the best vampire films made in recent years? Please leave your comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts as well. And if you liked what you saw here, please subscribe to my channel for more horrific content. Have a very scary day, boils and ghouls, and yeah, I hope you get to watch some good horror movies because there's a lot of them out there. So yeah, take care and stay scary.